All right, what's up, Cowboys Nation? Welcome back to another video. The Dallas Cowboys beat the Houston Texans, beat them 27-23, and let's talk about it.
On the field, Lamb, 10-5, victory! Touchdown, Ezekiel Elliott. How about the rookie Micah Parsons? What a play!
Defense wins championships, but the Super Bowl is won by the quarterback.
The Cowboys win in a nail-biter, and they narrowly defeat the Houston Texans, who are 11-1 now on the season, and the Dallas Cowboys are 10-3. The first back-to-back seasons of double-digit wins in a season for the Cowboys since 1996. I talked about that in my pregame prediction video, and it happened. I didn't expect it to happen in this way, but I guess it's true what they say, right? Like, it's the NFL. Anything can happen. And guys, the Cowboys came super close. They came super close to losing this game. And if they would have lost this game, I was prepared to make a video accepting the defeat, because we deserved to lose that game. We were awful in all phases of that game. 3 phases: offense, defense, special teams. Our offense was struggling after the first half, after the first quarter where we got those points. The defense got no pressure on the Houston Texans. You want to hear something crazy? 0 sacks for the Dallas Cowboys. The team that leads the NFL in sacks got no sacks against the Houston Texans, who used multiple quarterbacks: Davis Mills and Jeff Driscoll. The Cowboys couldn't get to either of them. But the Cowboys did win, guys. And you talk about humility. You talk about being humbled. This is as close as being humbled as you'd want to be. Because being completely humbled is losing the game, losing a game that you shouldn't have. But the Cowboys narrowly defined a way, and we won the game. I don't want this to come off super aggressive. I don't want it to come off angry, because we did win the game, guys. And let me say this too. We need to back off Eagles Nation here. We were talking about how they were narrowly defeating the Colts, how they barely beat the Texans. Stop it. It's over with. We got 2 good teams, the Eagles and the Cowboys, and the NFC is going to be a toss-up between them. That's it. And we'll see what happens on December 24th. None of this, oh, the Eagles are the weakest 11-1 team I've ever seen. Oh, the Cowboys. No. Any given Sunday. I learned my lesson. I put way too much confidence in this team. And that's the crazy thing about it, right? Is the Cowboys could have easily won this game the way that we predicted. We all wanted them to. But these mistakes after mistakes, it wasn't even penalties, guys. I noticed 2 things. Obviously, the Turpin fumble was a big time, and I got something to say about that. Stay tuned. Keep watching, because I got something to say about Turpin. But also, the defense was they were just overcompensating. They really came off as overconfident, really. They over-pursued on a play on the right side when the run was to the left. They overcompensated on the running back when it was Driscoll running the ball. The Texans played the Cowboys to their strength. And almost like a Charlie Brown special, they whipped the football right before they kicked it. And it was really something unique to see. And we got to give credit where credit is due. The Texans came into AT&T Stadium, 17.5-point underdogs. Everyone expected them to lose. They put up a really crazy fight against the Cowboys. And I told y'all, I did give my respect. I did pay my respect to the Texans in my pregame prediction video. I said for them to have a chance, Dameon Pierce is going to have to run over 200 yards. He didn't. He only ran for 78 yards. But I think total the Texans ran over 100 yards, which they did, yes. And then David Mills probably had to play the game of his life. He really didn't throw any touchdowns, threw an interception. But they really needed a lot of help from the Dallas Cowboys, and the Cowboys gave them a lot of help today and gave the Texans a chance. And everything that we've really been talking about the past few weeks about the Cowboys and their first half starts and being a really great second half team, it really caught up to them today against the Texans. I mean, everything that could go wrong went wrong. And even when we were depending on them to make that switch after second half, they didn't until there was 4 minutes left in the game and Dak took them down the field. But let's talk about something really great here. Dak Prescott's stat line, 24 for 39. Wow. Over 30 attempts. I thought he was going to throw under that. He threw over 250 yards. He threw touchdowns and 2 interceptions. He's got to stop it with these interceptions. I know he's being aggressive. I know he's trying to find the wide receiver open. But you got to stop these. Figure it out. Don't throw it away, throw it at the ground. You can't be doing this. 8 interceptions in 8 games. As spectacular and accurate and elite as I thought he was on that final drive to go 98 yards to take the lead. Some of this stuff that we're talking about and how close this game is doesn't happen if you throw that first interception, and especially if you throw that second interception. Dak Prescott has been a rejuvenation, has been a shot of adrenaline into the Dallas Cowboys' arm. But make no mistake about it, the Cowboys have had to deal with some of his miscues, whether it's miscommunication, whether it's the wide receiver running the wrong route. Comment down below, whatever you want it to be. Point is, 8 interceptions in 8 games is not good. I don't care who's throwing it. I don't care how it's thrown. That's bad football. And that stuff does not fly. You try doing that in Tampa Bay in the wild card against Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. Tell me how that goes. We were able to just by the hairs of our chinny chin chin today. Just such a narrow margin because they're the Texans. They're 1-10. They're 1-11-1. They're supposed to lose this game because they're not as talented as the Cowboys. But pull this stuff in Minnesota when we see them in the divisional round. Pull this stuff against Philadelphia in the playoffs. See what happens. Yeah, we see the same game that we've seen in the playoffs that the Cowboys have played for how long? Where they're quiet in the first half and they show up in the second half. Although, like I said, I want to give credit where credit is due. He went 98 yards. Dak Prescott was surgical. He was accurate. He was confident delivering these balls. I'm sure he would agree with me too. Of course he wants those 2 throws back. He knows he's not supposed to throw those. But credit is credit. Give credit where credit is due. And I'm wearing this back Dak Prescott jersey because he took this team 98 yards. And he was surgical. He was accurate. He was putting the ball on the money. That ball to Noah Brown and then that ball to Dalton Schultz in the red zone. Dalton Schultz made up for the drop that he had before halftime. Goodness gracious, that was a great drive. And that's something that you wanted to see. I tweeted, and you should be following me on Twitter. I said, despite how bad your team has played and how all your players have played bad, teams will go out of their way to pay good money for a good quarterback so they could be the separation. So they could be the difference in a game like this where, yeah, you had a bad game. Everyone's had a bad game. But we paid you this kind of money because we believe in you to go get this win, touchdown, whatever it may be. And you got to tip your hat to Dak Prescott because he did exactly that in that final drive. Granted, it was against the Texans. I get it. I get it. We all know the story that's going to be going around this week. We get it. It's the Texans shouldn't have been there in the first place. But give the credit where credit is due. Dak Prescott did his job, led this team, and did a really good job doing it. Let's talk about Turpin because I told you guys to stay tuned because I was talking about Turpin. If I'm Mike McCarthy, I'm cutting Cavante Turpin tomorrow. And I know what you're thinking. That's ridiculous. Honestly, I don't know what you see in Cavante Turpin. He has a lot of potential. I understand that. He ran 2 back in preseason. But since then, what? Only 1, 2 good run backs as a kick returner and a punt returner. We had such a good start to this game. And then the muff punt happened. And it just spiraled. It spiraled. Now, I'm not saying this game was close because of Turpin, because, like I said, the game spiraled and a lot of players were included in the reason why it spiraled down, and put the Cowboys in the hole that they were in the year. But I think you got to make an example. You got to cut this guy, and Mike McCarthy has to put his foot down on the ground and say, see, that's what happens when you make mistakes like that. And we're going to be a football team that don't make those kind of mistakes. Mike McCarthy should expect perfection from this team. And now I'm going to get a little bit serious now on you guys here, going with 4 or 5 weeks left in the season, because it's December. This is where games matter. And the Cowboys have Super Bowl aspirations, championship aspirations. And you got to make an example saying, look, we can't fumble the ball. We can't do those stupid plays. We can't do that, or else this is what happens. And I think, in my opinion, you got to cut Cavante Turpin tomorrow and just draw the line and show the guys this is where the standard is. We're not settling for anything lesser than that. This is a wake-up call for the Cowboys. They got some big games coming up here. Got the Jaguars, who look good. You got the Titans. Got the Eagles. Got the Commanders. Really big games coming up here. So this schedule to the end of the year is not as easy as some people may believe. But the Cowboys won. Yes, they're 10-3. And you know what? It would be a lot different if they lost. Believe me, we'd be talking a little bit different kind of game. But the Cowboys won. They're 10-3. I'm proud of them. They found a way to win. They cleaned the slate, scored on that final drive, and the defense followed it up by closing out the game. Couple tough injuries, so we'll have to keep our eye on that throughout the week. But this is a wake-up call. This is a wake-up call. Those things that we were talking about with the Cowboys, they finally caught up today. And it almost caught them. Man, oh man, it almost caught them. But this is something that you should be thankful for if you're the Cowboys. Because it would have been humiliating if they lost. But they won. Now you got to build on it. Now you got to set the standard. That's all I got to say. Like and subscribe. I'll see you guys later this week. Go Cowboys.
Looking down the field, Lamb, 10-5, victory! Touchdown, Ezekiel Elliott. How about the rookie Micah Parsons? What a play!
Defense wins championships, but the Super Bowl is won by the quarterback.